Hello, and welcome to Campus View. My name is Brian Venturella, and I'll be your host today. We'll be discussing Halloween, sports, and entertainment. So let's meet our first group of student guests. Please introduce yourselves.
All right. Hi, I'm Cameron.
I'm Brennan.
Jacob.
All right, and we're going to start with some of the big college football games going on this weekend. So I'm going to open it up to discussion. Ohio State, Wisconsin. Wisconsin was looking very good early on in the season, but they lost a bad game to Illinois. How do you see them responding this weekend?
I love Ohio State in this matchup. I mean, Wisconsin just is not as good as Ohio State. They haven't been for a while, and they're not going to get it done.
I think Wisconsin's going to come out, ready. They want blood. It's always been a good game between the two, and really with that loss last
Except
weekend,
for last year's matchup, which wasn't a good game.
They didn't play last
2
year,
years
did they?
ago.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very good game. But then let's head down to the SEC. All right, Auburn, LSU. LSU has looked like the best team so far this year, at least with their wins they've had. Do you see Auburn putting up any sort of fight?
Personally, no. For LSU, obviously what you just said, I think LSU is much better than Alabama. Of course, people like Paul Feinbaum always want to say that Alabama is the best team, when obviously they're not this year. It's definitely LSU over anybody else.
LSU's playing with the Heisman favorite, while Auburn has a very average quarterback in Bo Nix, so it'll be an easy one for the Tigers.
Yeah. True freshman. We'll see how he deals with Baton Rouge. Final game, let's talk about Michigan, Notre Dame. Notre Dame lost that close game to Georgia, but they've looked pretty good nonetheless. Michigan, they've lost 2 games, but they showed a lot of fight versus Penn State. Who do you guys see coming out here?
I think if Notre Dame stays consistent and they don't get worn down by Michigan's defense, I think they can go all the way. I mean, Notre Dame's a great team, and as long as their wide receivers play well, we got the game.
I think Michigan is good at home. They have a pretty good record at home if they're not playing Ohio State or Michigan State, so I think Jim Harbaugh gets it done.
All right, let's switch gears to NBA. Brent, I'm going to ask this question to you. A lot of movement so far, a lot of superstars moving around teams. Who do you like in the East? Who do you like in the West this year?
Ooh, okay, so for the West, I would probably have to say Kawhi Leonard to the Clippers. He transferred from the Raptors this past season, and him with Paul George in the West is going to, obviously the West is the most contentious side in the league, so it's going to be an odds up, but I'm going to have to say the Clippers for that. For the East, I'm going to have to say Kyrie and Kevin Durant to the Nets. You guys have any?
I think you got it right on the spot. Those are the big transfers in this crazy market.
What about all the drama on the teams? Do you think everyone's going to get along? How do you feel about Houston?
No, I don't think James Harden and Russell Westbrook will get along very well. I mean, in the past they were young and they coexisted, but now they both have the superstar mentality, so I think it's going to be tough there in Houston.
Especially with Russell Westbrook trying to go after a triple-double every single game.
It's a very fair point. 2 alphas meeting up. We'll see how they deal with each other. Moving on to the EPL, English Premier League. We got a really big game this weekend. Tottenham, Liverpool. Cam, how do you see that one working out?
I got to go with Liverpool. Even though I'm a Man United fan, I think Liverpool Reds are going to take it. Tottenham's had a really, really rough start, and they've got a bumpy road, whether that's in the Premier League or the Champions League. And Liverpool's been consistent lately. I mean, they had that tie against Manchester United last weekend, but everyone's got a tie one time or another. So I think Liverpool's pulling away. 3-1 victory.
I think Tottenham just flat out stinks. I think they are not a good club in the Premier League, and I think this is a 3-0. I don't even think Tottenham can score on Virgil van Dijk in the center.
Well, I have to disagree a little bit there. You can't take away the aspect of Harry Kane. But Jacob, I'll ask you this one. Liverpool so far in the Premier League has looked unstoppable. Do you see Man City being able to compete for that 3rd straight Premier League title, or do you see Liverpool winning their first in a while?
I think it's a 2-horse race. I think it'll be a competition in the end, but I think there's a good chance as of right now that Liverpool pull ahead without any injuries on either side.
Excellent. All right, we got big games in baseball going on right now. Nats are up 2-0 in the series over the Astros. Some are saying Nats are the team of destiny. What have you guys made of that series so far?
Nats have looked strong. I mean, they put up big runs. And when you got Astros putting out Garrett Cole, All-Star, Justin Verlander, All-Star. I mean, you just got to do better. You've got Altuve, Correa, Springer, all these amazing players on the Astros, and they just haven't really been able to hit. I mean, we got to bring out the bats. We got to keep the Nats to a few runs rather than their. I think they put up 11 last game.
11-3.
And Nats are gonna win it all if Astros can't find ways to stop them.
I think going down 2-0 home, I don't think you can come back from that. And I think people are crazy about the Nationals and nuts about the Nats right now.
Well said, very well said. Do you see Garrett Cole rebounding at all? He's been unstoppable up until game 1. Do you see him having a rebound game? I'm assuming they're going to pitch him probably game 4, game 5-ish. Do you see him being able to salvage some wins?
I don't think he pitches game 4, and I don't think he gets a chance to pitch game 5. I think this is a 4-game series, and I think it's from this point on, Nationals take 2 at home.
I think if he comes back, if he's able to pitch another game, I think he'll mix it up a bit. I mean, that was his first loss since May 22nd. That's insane. And he's got to switch it up a bit, but maybe it was just a fluke. And maybe he pulls out and brings it back for the Astros.
Yeah, well, I'm sure everyone in Houston is hoping that happens. Finally, Jacob, your no-lose parlay for the week. What is it?
All right, so there's 3 games right here. It's very simple. It comes down to Virginia -3 against Louisville without their starting quarterback. That's an easy pick right there. Texas -1 against TCU. I mean, Texas competed with Oklahoma. It won't be tough to compete with TCU. And then Bills -2 against the Eagles. The Eagles just aren't good this year, and the Bills have a strong defense, so they're going to win by a lot.
All right, do you know what that'll pay out?
3-1 odds, so triples your money.
All right, 3-1 odds. You heard it here first. Bet the no-lose parlay for Jacob. He'll pay you back if it doesn't win. And that's all we have for sports. As always, you can follow any of these guys on Twitter for the latest in all sports here at Ohio State. And we'll be back after the break. Hello and welcome back to Campus View. Our next topic for today is Halloween, how to survive a Halloween at Ohio State. We have our lovely panel right here, and they're going to be telling us everything you need to know. So ladies, I'd like you to introduce yourself right now, please.
I'm Mara.
I'm Hanal.
I'm Sarah.
All right, and first question, this is a big one. What are the best costume ideas right now? What's hot, what's not?
I think personally the funny costumes are the best ones. You know, the unique, the punny ones. I feel like I've seen a lot of the same costumes, so seeing a new one is kind of refreshing.
I have to agree with that. I do like the funnier costumes. I'm seeing a lot of people dress up as White Claws. Personally, I think it's getting a little repetitive, so I'd like to see some new drinks, maybe like Pink Whitney or something. That could be fun.
Good point.
But it's so easy to dress up as White Claw, and I understand why we're not really being original, because I can't go out to the store and buy a costume.
That's an excellent point. As a college student, you guys are always on a budget. Like, no one wants to dish out $40, $30 for a Halloween costume you're going to wear once. So how do you guys manage, would you say, budgeting and still looking presentable so you're not wearing a jersey or you're just not going as like a college student, which is the lamest costume ever?
So for me, I actually just thought of this about an hour ago. I was thinking of things that I have in my closet already and how they could be a costume. So for instance, I have this sweater that's like a green sweater with like stripes on it, and I was like, I feel like I could do something with this. Steve from Blue's Clues, I could be that, grab like a, maybe even print out like a blue dog or something.
Oh yeah.
So that's a good way.
I think just making your own costumes a lot of the time. Even growing up, I made a lot of my own costumes. Last year, a few friends and I were a 4-for-4. I was the drink, and I just taped a straw to my head. So like that's really easy. You can pretty much wear whatever for that, and just print out Wendy's logos. I think just creating your own costume, going on Amazon, you can get it in 2 days with that student prime. You can't beat it.
I was Kim Possible, so that was very easy last year. I just bought like the dollar ringtone.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. All right, we're going to talk about group costumes. What do you guys think of group costumes? What are your opinions? Like them, love them, hate them, and what are some of your favorites you've seen?
Group costumes are tricky because, you're committing to staying with that group of people the whole night. If you sway away from the group and you have a group costume, you just kind of look lame because no one understands your costume. But I think that if they're creative enough, I think if you can pull them off and stay with your group, I like them.
I agree. I think they're good if they're done well. So, for example, last year, my friends and I did like the characters from Big Mouth. So I was like Missy. My friend was Andrew. He already had the red hair. It worked out really well. This year, we were kind of thinking, I don't know if we're doing this or not, we were thinking of being like 3 Martians, and then someone could be the Claw, but it could be like White Claw. See, I think that's an instance where White Claw is done well.
Yep, there you go, yeah.
Yeah, things like that. Powerpuff Girls, if it's done well, was always good.
I'm not gonna lie, I've seen Powerpuff Girls a lot though, but
That's
I
true.
do think group activities are very bonding. So
It's all for the picture. It's all for the Instagram
That's
photo.
what it seems like, yeah. As long as you get that good photo, you're good for the night, and then
For sure.
who knows what happens with the costume. Anyway, we're going to talk about weekends. What is the best weekend to celebrate Halloween? Halloween this year, it's not going to fall on a weekend. It's coming up on Thursday. Do you guys think this weekend is going to be the best time to celebrate it, or it's going to be next weekend after Halloween's already over?
I think that's a hot debate right now, just because people usually don't like celebrating Halloween when November hits. So next week, Halloween's on a Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, you're already in November. So it makes more sense for it to be this weekend in that aspect. I don't know. However, I do have 3 exams the Friday after Halloween, so I'd prefer it to be this weekend.
I think that once the actual date passes, everyone just turns into turkey mode. So it's like looking directly at Thanksgiving. So I feel like with a lot of holidays, it's best to celebrate them before they happen. The fact that it's on a Thursday is kind of nice too because that's close-ish to the weekend. So preferably this weekend, but we also have a home game, so we'll see how it plays out.
I honestly think that like both weekends are going to be Halloweeny, but I definitely think this weekend will definitely be the height of it.
Now, question for both these weekends. Can you wear the same costume to both weekends you may go to parties, or do you have to get 2?
Personally, I think 2. I don't know. We gotta push the standards up. If you want to wear the same one, that's fine. But I think you should have some prepared on the queue just in case. I don't know.
I have to agree with that. Honestly, I think it's best, if possible, if you have a different costume for every night. Just because like you're going to be taking pictures, you might be seeing the same people. It's always fun to just like do new things. And like we talked about earlier, it doesn't always have to be hard or expensive. You can go thrifting, find something, make it work.
Yeah. And you can always interchange costumes with friends. It's
That's
not
true.
that hard to find a costume.
Excellent points, excellent points. We're going to switch topics here a little bit. We're going to talk about Halloween candy. All right, what's the best and what's the worst? And if you think the worst is candy corn, hold on to that because we're going to get to that.
Growing up, I'm not a huge fan of peanut butter. I know it's a hot take. So whenever we would dump our candy out, I would always trade my Reese's. Yeah, I know. So, but I would always get the candy that I wanted because everyone wanted the Reese's. I don't know if anyone's ever had the orange Kit Kats. They're very good. Those were always a hot commodity growing up as well.
I personally like chocolate, anything chocolate, absolutely love. Anything that's like candy, gummy, stuff like that, toss it. I don't like it, get rid of it. Yeah.
I liked Milk Duds for a period, and then I got my braces, so I had to give those up.
All right, quick. Candy corn, yay or nay?
If it's there, I'll eat it. I'm not going to go out of my way and buy it. But I'm not vehemently against it, I guess.
I'm going to say yay. I think I used to not, I don't even know the first time I had it. It was probably recently, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, but I think it's a yay for me.
I think it's a yay, just as long as it's not those pumpkins where it's just like an overload of
yep.
sugar.
All right, and final question before I let you guys go. Once Halloween's over, are we allowed to start celebrating Christmas or no?
Absolutely.
I think you have to wait till Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving?
No,
Christmas
I
is
think you
all
can,
year round.
yeah, Christmas.
Christmas starts November 1st. You heard it here first. Thank you to all of my guests, and we're going to take a short break. Hello and welcome back. For the final segment, we're going to be talking all things entertainment, both new and old, with our panel here who's going to introduce themselves.
My name is Jared.
I'm Kayla.
And I'm Hannah.
All right, so first question, Jared, I know you had a lot of material on this. Kanye just dropped a new album. What do you think?
I would say it's 27 minutes of my life I can't get back. He did a gospel album. The problem with that is if you want to preach, you want to make it good. There's probably one good banger in there. Everything else sucked.
All right, now when you normally listen to music, are you more of a, I got to listen to an album a couple times before I like it, or do you know, like, love at first sight? If I listen to this album, I know I'm going to like it.
I got to listen to it a few times for sure, and I know that, but after this one,
We're just going to write off Kanye?
yeah,
All right.
I'm not coming back.
All right, well, sorry, Kanye. Ohio State is against your new album. But moving on to some lighter terms, rock. I know you got a lot of topics on it, or viewpoints on it. You want to discuss?
Heck yeah, I do. Rock music is what I live for. Like this summer, I went to Incarceration, if any of you heard about it, Incarceration 2019. Some of the best headliners out there, and personally, I thought they were better than Sonic Temple. If you guys ever heard of Shinedown, Godsmack, Five Finger Death Punch, Shinedown gave the best performance ever. I've already seen them like 15 times, and this performance just blew me away. They started opening with their song Devil from their new album Attention Attention. Best opening ever. I love the lights, I love the fireworks. It was just very pretty, colorful, and everyone was just jamming. The mosh pit was just going nuts. Great time. And then, what was it? On Saturday, it was Godsmack. I've never seen Godsmack, and oh my gosh, they blew me out of the water. I loved them so much. They had like a little jamming out session, something that I would have never seen from other bands. It was pretty interesting, and you know, it's all live music. It's nothing like pre-recorded, so it was all just coming from the soul. And I felt the emotional energy just channeling through me, and I just started moshing like crazy. Honestly, it was really awesome. And then Sunday was Five Finger Death Punch, and I've already seen them a few times as well. And it was amazing. I thought it was kind of funny. If you guys don't know who the lead singer of Five Finger Death Punch is, I think his name is Ian. There was actually a girl lost in the audience, and during the show, we had to find the mother for this girl. So he literally stopped the whole concert, stopped everyone playing like instruments, and said, "Hey guys, we gotta find this girl's mom." And it was just so funny because everyone was just jamming out, and then all of a sudden there was just a search party going on in the middle of the stage, and like all in the crowd. We found the mom. We pushed her to the front of the stage and onto the pit, and we're just like, "Hey woman, you gotta take your kid." And then for the rest of the night, we just started jamming even more. It was a great time.
I wish I was there. I mean, it sounds fantastic.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
3 days.
That sounds amazing. So I guess lesson learned, listen more rock, listen less Kanye. We're going to head to movies now. And one of our favorite segments on the show, explain to Brian one of the new movies out that you've seen recently without spoiling it to the audience. So is there anyone on our panel that would like to play that game?
So for the last month, I've seen some more horror movies than I'm used to. Like, my boyfriend's birthday is on Halloween, so he's like, "We gotta see these movies." I'm like, push me out of my comfort zone, but it's really good. Saw it about It 2, like a month ago. Really long, not as good as the first one, but worth seeing, I guess. Like, Bill Hader in there, very funny. We saw Haunt, which is more of a smaller movie. It's about this group of college kids that go to a haunted house, but it's more like not an actual haunted house. It's like the people in there are actually trying to kill you. It's actually surprisingly good. And last week we saw Zombieland 2. Pretty solid movie. It reminded me a lot of Deadpool, which I think some of the producers on there were from Deadpool. Generally pretty funny. It's a pretty fun movie. Yeah, I'd say it's a good time.
Well, a bunch of new movies out, a bunch of good recommendations for our viewers to go out and watch. We're going to play another little game here. I want you guys to each tell me, it doesn't have to be your favorite movie, but maybe a movie that you've watched you think is really good, but you don't think many people have seen it before, and sell it to me.
The Prestige.
Prestige, all right.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan. That one is dope. Christian Bale, Hugh Jackman. It's just nuts. Is the best way I could put it. Whole way through.
Plot, like, do we know generally what it's about?
Really hard to explain.
Okay.
To be honest. It's two rival magicians,
Okay.
going at it for the whole movie, always trying to one-up each other.
All right.
Eventually, one comes out on top at the end, and the way he does it is just mind-blowing. It's a movie you got to watch twice. So.
Well, there you go. Do you find out any of the secrets of the magic when you watch it twice?
That's like the whole thing with it.
All right.
Dave Bowie's in it too. He plays Tesla. So,
All right.
if you're a music fan, it's pretty cool.
So kind of a spin-off of Harry Potter, almost like.
Yes.
Any terrible movies you guys have seen recently? I know for myself, I saw a movie called Killing of a Sacred Deer. I don't know if any one of you have seen it. Do not recommend. I'm sorry if that was the movie you're going to describe as one of your favorites. But you guys, what are some bad movies? What are something that do not even buy a ticket, do not rent this, do not Redbox it if people still use Redbox? But what is the no-go list?
I wouldn't say don't see it at all, especially if you're a big fan. It like depends on your perspective on it. The most recent Godzilla movie, I did not enjoy it whatsoever. But like my mom, she is more of a monster fight. That's a big focus for the Godzilla movies for her. So she liked it, but it was very conventional. Very like the plot was just so conventional and boring, and it was a very long movie, and there wasn't even enough like monster fight action in there for me. It was just hard to get through.
I actually haven't really seen any terrible movies, but I could give you my favorite movie.
I would love to hear it.
Cool. So actually, my favorite movie is actually an art film. It's called Martyrs, kind of in tune with the Halloween season. It's an art film about finding the true message of life. So it's more of a horror film, very gruesome horror film if you want to think of like Final Destination or Saw. That's kind of the setup. But it surrounds a character, a female. This is a French film, by the way, so I really don't know who the actors or actresses are. It surrounds by a female who is kind of like lost in her own identity, doesn't really know what's going on with herself. And then she gets stuck in this situation at a house with a family who traps her in a basement and then literally tortures her to death. But really, like, if you watch the movie, like, you think this is kind of gruesome, but then you realize, like, the whole message behind it is, like, life is short and life is just so easy to tamper with. Like, we really don't know what we can really do with it, and once we lose it, it's unfortunate, but like we really miss out on a lot and we don't realize it. So I thought it was kind of interesting.
Well, it does sound very deep, very interesting, and I'm sure a lot of people would love it. That's all the time we have for today. We gave you guys some great new movies, some new music to maybe listen to or don't listen to. But that's all the time we have for Buckeye View today, and join us next week.